channel, Double 18 Seth Shadow here. First of all, thank you for those who attended my panel on Ascend this past Saturday. I know I didn't advertise it as well as I should have, but I guess I was getting a little nervous about doing so as it was my first panel I've ever tried, and I apologize for that. But again, thank you for those who attended, and I do hope to be able to do more panels like that in the future. We will see what happens there. With that having been said, let's go ahead and get into today's Market Watch, where last time we talked a lot about the new Stride deck sets for Night Rose and Harry, but there was a lot more news that got dropped in terms of we got the new Shododoji announced along with the new Archite too. So we're going to talk a little bit about cards in relation to that. Before that, we also have the announcement of the June promos that are coming for shop tournaments. And we are getting the remainder of the glitter promos for Tamayura, Eva, and Chaos. So, just taking a look at some prices. I was taking a look at the Grade 2 SP of Tamayura, Festival of Burning, where this has been a pretty cheap SP to pick up historically in comparison to most of the ride line. And right now it's got a base price of 11. It hasn't been selling that much, but if you're intending to play Tamayura with the new glitter support coming, I wouldn't say this is a bad price to get into, given that I feel like Tamayura is one of those more popular of the glitter units overall, but I wouldn't say it's the most popular. Regardless, it's always interesting to see how this one just never seems to breach 20 so easily. We've also got the Direful Dolls, and we're going to take a quick look at Ririmi, where we have a number of different copies of this one between the original Direful Doll from Set 5 as well as the remake in Set 8. And both of them also have their triple drive reprints, which those reprints are low on stock in comparison to their original copies, and all of them are sitting between 60 cents to just over $1.50 to pick up. So it's still pretty similar across the board and easy to pick up overall. In terms of listings again though, the triple drive booster set ones are lower on quantity, which also makes sense given that I believe there was far less cracked open on the triple drive set, and there was definitely a lot more opened from the original sets. Poison and Paradise Eva, now that we have the promo announcement for June, we need to go back and revisit and see what's happening here. Well, there hasn't been a major increase in price on the triple rare yet, although I can't say the same for individual quantities. We'll look at that in more detail. But I will say that the FFR is now sold out, and the market price on that is $71.71. As for the triple rare, right now, the card has been selling for $10, and when it comes to listings that are available, most of the $10 listings have only one copy. One of them does have 3. After that, it just progressively keeps on increasing past that, but there are lots of copies once you get to $15 or just under that. So ultimately, even with Poison and Paradise Eva being one of the more popular ones, I feel like 15 might be the ceiling for this one. It'll just depend on just how readily bought out it gets once we hit June, and we'll see. The problem is, the promo will probably be really expensive as it's historically been for big promos like Eva's. So we'll have to see how that keeps prices in check. And then we've got an old card from Set 4, Sea Breeze Abduction. The holo foil of this card is currently down to 2 listings, with Zorga coming out in June with Illusionless Strife, which is our second DivineZ set. This card has run low on listings and increased in market price very gradually. It went from about 35 cents to 62 cents, and it's been selling for 35 cents recently. The only listings that are currently available are about $1 each, and there are only 2 copies available. And then I also wanted to talk about Healer of Heavenly Staff, Arches. Someone ended up buying my last copy the other day, so I wanted to see where it's at, which right now it's only at one listing at $70 right now. I mean, between this and all the other SP full art triggers that you can pick up from Festival 2021, they just keep on shifting and moving, but I feel like they just hold around the $50 mark and they never really breach that. And if they do, like I said, this one's at 70, but the chance of it actually selling that high, it has sold once. We'll see if it ends up going again, but if it does, that's going to be problematic for just how big the collector's market's going to get. Steam Performer Togue, with the announcement of Harry, I think I forgot to cover this last time, but right now the listings are starting to dwindle a little bit. This card has increased from its market price of $11.67 to a base listing of $13.75, and I was able to sell one of these for $15 the other day. The foil is now $20 base, but a slightly lower market price of $11.11. Now, it does specify the use of Pale Moon. It was intended to be used with Lukier, but depending on what Harry gets, there's possibility that this could be useful. We'll have to see what happens when Harry gets his announcement. We've got Stealth Dragon's Tsukuyodachi as well, with Shododoji coming in, and the... Actually, let me double check here, because I know this card works more with Megalozuchi, and this one can actually be called off-turn play with the new Shododoji, as you can put cards into the soul with that skill to call this for offense, or even call it for defensive purposes. In any case, when we take a look at prices on this, I'd say they're where they've always been. This card has been progressively increasing in value as a promo over time, and now it's got a market price of over $13 for both its base and its foil version, which is actually interesting to see, as the foil, while it has a higher base price of $14 versus $11, they're still pretty available in comparison. You've also got Ox Machine Monster Savoid, which, thanks to Archetype's reveal, this card got renewed interest again, and now it's $15 base for the regular one, $20 base if you want to pick up the foil. Now, just as a reminder, some of these promos are getting reprinted in Festival 2024, which is coming before we get the new set with Archetype and Shododoji. So if you can wait a little bit, it might be better to do so than buying into these promos at this point. There's also Sea Rumble Brave Shooter from Fated Clash, which is the energy cycler that comes out of the set. This one has been increasing in value, and now it used to be $8 to $9 for its triple rare, and now it's $15 with only 7 listings. The silver rare is currently at $17.80 base with 5 listings, and the FFR is currently at $38. Now, even with the reprint of Fated Clash, FFRs don't get printed nearly as much, so if we see a lot more play of something like Rumble Brave Shooter, I feel like this could end up shooting up quite in value. No pun intended. This could go up quite a lot in value, similar to how we saw things like Tethfalk go up as well. So just have to pay attention on the FFRs in those cases. But then you've also got the silver rare as the middle child, so that could keep things in check as well. Siana is also getting new promo support with the June promo set, so I wanted to revisit this. It's still readily available. 25 listings on the triple rare that start at $3.80, which this card has never really gone above $10. In fact, I don't think it's ever really reached $10. Then the FFR is currently at 40 base, while the LSR, which used to be the most expensive for actually it was competing with Charmant for the most expensive of the LSRs. And then now it's $229, which is still a big price tag, but it's much lower than the market price of $262.54. Also, one thing about Shododoji is that the ability to call out stealth perfect guards is something that you want to keep your eye on. So with the Shiranui Stride deck, you do have to remember that we have Stealth Dragon Utsuroi, which is a perfect guard. If you end up somehow binding this in Shododoji, you can actually utilize this one from the bind zone as well. So it's exclusive to the Shiranui deck and is currently about $7 to $8 depending on which rarity you want to pick up. There is the more budget version though, which is the original perfect guard that we got with the Yu Yu Kondo deck and eventually some of the other starter decks. It's Escort Stealth Dragon Hayashi Kaze. So if you don't want to pay the extra dollars for Utsuroi, you could go with this one too. You just won't get the benefit of not having to discard in order to use this skill. Rosarium Fairy has been going back down in price and listings are back up on the market. This was getting bought out at $20 and higher and the market price is $14.46, but we have listings back on the market starting at $10.92 right now and we have a few more at $12. But the FFR is currently out of stock with a market price of $69.79. So if you have copies of that, though you'll have to see. With the triple rare down, it may not sell as readily, but at least it can still sell high. Knight of Piercing Kadwala has mostly gone up in value for all of its overall copies. It has its festival version, the original Raika versions, and then you've got the Graham Grace deck as well, which all of them are ranging around $7 to $8. And the foil that comes out of the Raika Koshiba deck is currently a base of $17 with 5 listings. Also, I should note that the combined number of listings here is only 16, so there aren't that many left on the market. If you need to pick this up, they're running out, so you gotta be careful there. We've also got another increase in value for Yearnful Flower made in Florence, which is from Festival 2023, similar to how we had all the other grade 3 units that buff up based off triggers. This card now has a base price of $12 for its triple rare and a market price of $5.04. It's only got one listing left on the FFR, which is currently $35 and a market price of $15.12. As for the number of quantities among the 5 listings for the triple rare, most of them are 12 to 14, and that's about 7 copies when it comes to the first 3 listings. Cage of Furious Star. So there's only one listing left on the FR starting at $10. I believe that's mine. But I do want to point out that the rare increased in value as well. We've got 8 listings on this one and the market price is now $1.45, but the base price is now $2. Oh wait. Oh, I didn't list this card. I'll have to go back and check that. Anyway, so yeah, $3 is actually the lowest price when you consider the free shipping. So this card, and yes, there's heavy consolidation on that $3. So $3 has effectively become the base price of this card. And the last card to go over is Silverthorn Rising Dragon. I know I've got Silverthorn Marionette as well, but Rising Dragon's the one I want to go over as its price for the triple rare has gone up. The market price on that is $7.55, and now we see it at $12.50. And in terms of actual sales, it's been selling from the last few days at $10 to $12. Again, more than likely influence for Harry, but this is something that you again can only use for its first skill because the second skill requires you to play Lukier. So part of the reason why, even if it's increasing in value, it's not out of this world, but it's only 7 listings overall, so still have to be careful there. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.